Welcome to part 3 of how to write engaging scenes. This is brought to you by Master Edit. You can check out the Master Edit website by going on the right hand side there in the description and click on the link. It's really cool editing software. I like it. I use it all the time. It's kind of like having your own editor, but even better because it catches mistakes that your editor will miss. So where we left off then is she's formulated her plan and now she's executing the plan. That is, the character must decide to take action on the plan. And you do this by showing that she's actually doing it. So the character starts to act in this way. And this sets up the next scene. So now the character is, she has brushed her hair and put the mousse in, wrapped up in a ponytail bun. She's almost out of time. Brushes her teeth. Does the last little checkups. Okay, I'm on my way to go to meet him because he's gonna meet her. What's the next thing then that can happen that's bad? So now you're going back here to your inhale scene. So now you need to again set up the point of view, which should be clear in this next scene. And when scenes flow together so well, and there's not like a big skip or jump in time or things that happen, there's no reason to do the pound sign and then going to the next scene, whatever. But in a manuscript, and keep in mind that manuscripts have a certain formatting, and I have video links in my playlist. So look under my playlist for formatting, so you can learn how to format a manuscript. It's important. But what I'm talking about is when you have the pound scene like that, and then you go to the next scene. But you don't do that for every scene change. In this case, there's no need to do that because we haven't jumped a lot of time or anything. So now we're back at the next scene, the next inhale scene. And always think, what's the worst thing that happened? What's the worst thing that happened? It'll always make it more exciting. You definitely don't want characters just like doing things. You definitely want them to have a motivation and a goal, or goal and a motivation. So our goal still now is to get to go on this date. We don't know what the goal for what the whole novel is yet. So I just want to quickly go through some of this again now, for it can kind of make sense to this as you go back into the third one, the third third scene, but technically it's like the second scene, but but there's two types of scenes: inhale and exhale. So now we're on the second inhale. There's really no reason to set up the point of view again because we've established the point of view, and we're continuing to establish the point of view by sharing our thoughts and stuff. And everything is from her point of view. It's how she sees the world. So we even describe things the way she sees the world. If it's a annoying black cat, then that's what it is. That's how she sees the cat, even if the cat's not annoying. To her it is, so it's the annoying black cat. But we have to set up the setting all the time. Every time you have a change of setting, that is, you're in a new place, you want to take the time to describe things about it. It might only be a sentence or two, but you need that sentence or two. Sometimes it's a small paragraph. It just depends on the author. But you want at least a sentence to describe the new setting. So now she decides to go outside because she doesn't want to be embarrassed by any of her family members, and she doesn't want to have to deal with answering the door and maybe him coming inside because her little brother is acting up. He's ADD. He's kind of freaking out. He's really hyper. He had a couple sodas and a candy bar. This isn't good. He's running around the house like a maniac, and she's really upset. And she's like, "Calm down." And she's like, "Okay." I'm going to go outside and wait for him. Bye, Mom. And so she goes outside and decides to wait for him. So what's you want to think now? So you set up the setting, then just a sentence or two describing outside, something that's unique to her house, because you always want to, build character for everything. It's not just building character of the people, but people are we associate people with like their house and everything. So you can build up the character of the house, which is kind of building up the character for all the people that live in the house. And also you can take this time to build something about the character and tell us something about her by the way you describe the house, because it's from her point of view. So you describe the garden gnomes, right? And she can't understand why her mother likes garden gnomes. They went out of style so long ago, and she wishes she can just break them, but her mom would suspect her because her mom knows how much she hates the garden gnomes. So you can even add a little bit of comedy there by the way you write that description. So now we know a little something about the setting. There's like a lawn, there's garden gnomes, little white picket fence, big fat mailbox that's like looks like a little mini mansion that her dad built by hand in his little shop. So it's like little things like that help you help you do two things at once. You're describing the scene, you're setting up the setting, but you're also telling us about the mother and the father. Now we know the father likes to build things. He has a shop in the house somewhere or in his garage, and he works with wood and likes it. But you want to set up the time and place in relation to the last scene or sequel. So you might want to put a sentence or a couple words or a part of a sentence, a clause that tells us how much time has happened. But if it all just flew, like I just wrote this scene in my head, it all just flew. So there's no reason to tell the time. But if you do the little pound sign, you need to like say how much time has passed. It's the next day. It's 2 hours later. You need some reference to the last exhale scene. Right, so now she's outside. You can establish the character motivation to achieve a specific goal. And at this point, again, I always like to think of what's the worst thing that can happen. So what's the worst thing that can happen while she's waiting for her date to show up? She only has like maybe a couple minutes left. He's supposed to be there. Well, the worst thing that can happen, there's many, she just spontaneously combust. I don't know. But, just think of something bad that can happen. One, he can be late. So that's one thing. And maybe he's running late and he's like 5 minutes late, and she like decides maybe she's going to take her chances to go back inside and look for a brush again before she can fix her hair, but because she wants to wear it down. Just try to think of bad things that can happen. A friend can like stop by and see her, friends driving by, maybe a guy friend or a girlfriend. Maybe it's a really good looking girl, like from next door or something, and she's like, oh, hi, how you doing? And she's kind of jealous and is afraid if he sees her that he'll want her instead of, or something like this, and oh, my hair doesn't look good. So you want to think of something that will, make the scene tenser. So try to think of something that can go bad. You always want to look for those opportunities, because the scene's still going to move forward. You're still going to tell the story you want to tell, but having these little, bad things happen make it more exciting to read, more tense to read. Right, so we're still carrying over her same motivation to go out with this guy, same goal, but we can also, if we wanted to, we could set up a secondary goal again in order for her to achieve that goal with the guy. So obviously her secondary goal is to just get outside. She doesn't want to get embarrassed, so she wants to stay outside. She doesn't want her brother or she doesn't want to have to go inside the house. That's why she's waiting outside. So it's not to be embarrassed by her family. So that's kind of a secondary goal, not to be embarrassed by the family. So what are bad things going to happen? Well, her brother can break a window, like right as he gets there or something. And he's like, oh, no, what's that? And, no. She's like, let's get out of here, because she doesn't want him to meet the family. So, you can think of things like that. An ex-boyfriend can drive up right before he gets there. That can make it pretty intense. Like, oh, no, she keeps checking her watch, and she's trying to get rid of the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend. Oh, no, get out of here. My boyfriend's going to be here in like 2 minutes, but she doesn't want to tell him that because whatever reason. You can come up with a cool reason. Maybe it's because she still likes him and doesn't want to ruin her chance with him. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, cool drama. And so, maybe now her goal is to get rid of this guy, and her motivation is because she doesn't want, any type of feud, or she doesn't want to ruin her chances with either one. She doesn't want this guy that she wants to be a boyfriend that's about to show up. She doesn't want him to think anything bad about her, like she has another boyfriend or something like that. She doesn't want to ruin her chances with him. So that's her motivation. So now, new goal, motivation, get rid of the guy before her ex-boyfriend, before this other guy shows up. What are the stakes? Well, the stakes, are that if she fails to, she might, ruin her chances in her mind. That's all that matters, is what are the stakes in her mind. And as long as she wants something bad enough, we're going to want it. As long as she believes it, that there's stakes, we're going to feel the tension. So she convinces us through her thoughts that, this guy might not accept her, that he might just leave when he sees this new person there, and that she blew all her chances. You can put several obstacles in the way, the same thing you did before. So if you're ever wondering, how do authors do this? How do they keep blowing up their scenes and making them so long? This is how you do it. Look how much we've written already. If I would have write all this down, everything I've talked about, I would have at least 1,000 words. I probably have about 1,300 words, somewhere around there, maybe even 1,500 words. Just depends how much thoughts and stuff I shared. Okay, so let's come back with the next part, and we'll get into action-reaction.